Sign it now, Clara. Your brother deserves this more than you. My mother's voice was ice as she shoved the contract across the cafe table, oblivious to the soft jazz playing and the congratulatory balloons bobbing behind us. My father hovered close beside her, arms crossed, glaring at me while my older brother Lucas sat there coolly, tapping the edge of his sleek new phone. I glanced down at the crisp diploma from Stanford I'd just received, still tucked inside its elegant red folder, and then at the stack of legal documents demanding I surrender the patents I'd spent 5 years developing. My pulse thundered, but my hand was steady as I pushed the papers back toward my mother. Her face tightened, lips pressing into a thin line. This isn't optional, Clara. Lucas's crypto venture tanked. He needs new opportunities, my father cut in, leaning forward. Your little robotics work is the perfect springboard for him. Little robotics work? That's what they'd always called my research, even after I'd won the National Robotics Prize, even after several defense firms reached out to license my adaptive drone tech. To them, I was still just the quiet daughter who ought to give way for her golden child brother. Lucas chuckled, tilting his chair back. Clara, come on. You know I've got the business acumen to actually make your tech profitable. Business acumen, right? The same acumen that burned through $500,000 of my parents' retirement fund in a year, chasing some blockchain dream that went absolutely nowhere. These patents are mine, I said, voice growing firm. I built the drone prototypes myself. I worked 2 internships and coded through the nights. I'm not signing anything. My father slammed his hand on the table so hard that silverware rattled, then yanked my diploma folder from my lap. You ungrateful brat, he barked, tearing the thick parchment in 2. The rip split the music, drawing gasps from nearby customers. You think you're smarter than us? After everything we've sacrificed for you? I stayed still, calm despite the rush of heat under my skin. 5 years at Stanford had taught me more than engineering. They taught me how to hold my ground. Everything you've sacrificed, I murmured, like the loans I took myself, the 3 jobs I juggled while Lucas got credit cards with no limits, that everything? Don't start, my mother snapped, voice trembling. Your brother has vision, ambition. You just bury yourself in machines all day. These patents would be wasted on you. I stood up, adjusting the folds of my deep crimson Stanford graduation gown. I think we're done here. If you walk away now, my mother spat, eyes blazing, you're no longer part of this family. I looked at them, my mother clutching the torn halves of my diploma, my father's rigid posture, and Lucas's arrogant smirk, and felt an unexpected calm settle over me. You never really saw me as part of this family anyway. I met Lucas's eyes, my voice steady. I was just your safety net whenever Lucas's big ideas crashed and burned. How dare you? Lucas snapped, shoving back his chair, but I was already moving toward the exit. What they didn't know, what none of them ever bothered to ask, was that I'd already had a closed-door session with Tesla's acquisition team the day before. My adaptive drone navigation system, the one my parents dismissed as my little robotics hobby, had been on Tesla's radar for months. Tomorrow was the final negotiation. As I stepped outside into the cool Palo Alto evening, I pulled out my phone and hit speed dial. Dr. Chen? Yes? It went exactly how we thought. They tried to take the patents. I paused to dodge a passing group of students still wearing graduation regalia. No, I didn't breathe a word about tomorrow's meeting. And yes, all the documents are ready. In a boutique shop window, I caught my reflection. Still in my gown, the Stanford crest embroidered proudly on my chest, but I was standing taller than I had in years. Tomorrow, Tesla would announce their $50 million 0-cents acquisition of my drone system. Tomorrow, my family would finally understand the worth of the little projects they'd so easily dismissed. But tonight, I had other plans. I'd headed toward my shared townhouse where my true family waited. My best friend Priya, my roommate Devon, and our engineering crew were throwing me a low-key celebration. These were the people who'd stayed up with me through countless caffeine-fueled nights, debugging tangled code and designing prototype after prototype. Halfway up the townhouse steps, my phone buzzed with messages. Mom, you're making a terrible mistake. Dad, think about your brother's future. Meanwhile, you'll regret this. I would have made your dumb robots profitable. I silenced my phone without replying. They'd find out soon enough how profitable my dumb robots really were. Priya flung open the door before I could knock, eyes wide with relief. They did exactly what you predicted, didn't they? I nodded, finally grinning, down to the diploma tearing. Everything set for tomorrow? Press release written, Tesla's PR team standing by, and Devon's got the champagne chilled, Priya said, winking. Ready to shake up Silicon Valley, Miss Future Millionaire. For the first time since that disastrous graduation lunch, I laughed. Tomorrow would change everything, but tonight I was right where I belonged, surrounded by the people who believed in me, long before anyone else did. The next morning, I sat in Tesla's glass-walled conference room, sunlight spilling across brushed steel surfaces. My torn Stanford diploma was buried deep in my tote bag, a quiet badge of survival. Across from me, Raj Mehta, Tesla's acquisitions director, flipped through the last few pages of the deal documents, his demeanor crisp and businesslike, but clearly excited. Everything looks in order, Ms. Bennett, he said, sliding the contracts across the table. $50 million, 0 cents for your drone navigation patents, with you retained as lead engineer for 3 years. Are you ready to sign? I curled my fingers around the pen, thinking how vastly different this moment felt from yesterday's ugly showdown. Just one question, I said. The press release goes live right after this, right? Raj nodded. Tesla's media team has the announcement lined up. Your drone system is precisely what we need for our next-gen vehicles. This will be headline news within the hour. I signed my name slowly, each letter a silent rebuke to every time my parents or Lucas dismissed my work. Raj gathered the paperwork with a congratulatory smile. Almost instantly, my phone began vibrating in my bag. Word spread at lightning speed in Silicon Valley, and someone had clearly leaked the deal. The first call flashing across my screen was from Lucas. I hit decline, and messages started pouring in. Lucas? What the hell? $50 million, 0 cents? Lucas, you have to let me in on this. Lucas, Clara, pick up now. Next came my parents. Mom, Clara, we need to talk about this as a family. Dad, your brother deserves a share in this. Mom, don't be selfish. Think about Lucas's future. I silenced the phone as Raj led me down to Tesla's media room, where cameras flashed under glaring lights. My little robotics hobby was now front-page news. I stepped to the podium and delivered my prepared statement, explaining how my adaptive drone system could transform safety and efficiency in electric vehicles. By mid-afternoon, my photo was splashed across tech news sites. Stanford grad sells drone tech to Tesla for $50, 0 cents M. Young female engineer shakes up auto industry. Outside Tesla's HQ, Priya stood waiting, holding up her phone. You're trending on Twitter, she laughed. And guess who's been calling me all morning? Let me guess, my family? Lucas called 8 times, tried to convince me he's your business partner and needs your contract details urgently. I rolled my eyes. Figures. And my parents? Your dad left a voicemail insisting there's no way you did this alone. He says he wants his lawyers to review the deal. We headed back to my townhouse, where Devon had decked out the place with balloons and a cake that read Future Millionaire. As we stepped inside, my phone buzzed again, from a number I hadn't expected. Grandma, I answered, my throat tightening. Clara, sweetheart, came her gentle voice. I just saw the news. I always knew you were destined for big things, even when others couldn't see it. Tears pricked my eyes. My family tried to steal my inventions at graduation. Now Tesla's paying me $50 million, 0 cents to prove them all wrong. If you love stories of quiet underdogs rising to the top, hit subscribe and join me as I show what happens when the underestimated fight back and win. Grandma had been the only one who ever encouraged my love for engineering. She was the one who quietly helped me buy my first robotics kit when I was 12, even slipping me extra cash so I could upgrade parts from Radio Shack. Thanks, Grandma, I murmured, trying to steady my voice. That means more than you know. Your grandfather would be bursting with pride right now, she said. He always said you had his inventor's spirit. She paused, her tone shifting. Your parents are here, by the way. Stirring up quite a fuss outside. I let out a slow sigh. Of course they are. Don't waste a second worrying about them, Clara, Grandma said, her voice firm. I've set them straight. I've seen you pouring your heart into this work for years while they threw good money after Lucas's nonsense. They're just realizing what they've lost. After hanging up, I finally opened my messages. Among the dozens of congratulations from professors, classmates, and even a few venture capitalists, there was one email from a familiar sender, my father's lawyer. Subject: urgent, family meeting regarding asset distribution. Devin read over my shoulder, scowling. They seriously think they can still boss you around? They were so busy trying to crown Lucas as the family success story, Priya chimed in, that they didn't notice the real star was right in front of them. Devin raised his glass. To blind spots, and to Clara's $50 million 0-cents check. As we laughed and clinked glasses, another email pinged onto my screen. This time, the subject line made me freeze and smile at once. From Stanford to Tesla, the secret journey of Silicon Valley's newest millionaire. Prominent tech magazine wanted me for a cover story. I felt a rush of warmth as I thought about the girls who might read that article. Kids who quietly tinker, code, or build while their families brush them aside. Maybe my story could help them believe that being the quiet one doesn't mean being invisible. Priya nudged me. Ready to tell the world how you pulled this off? I nodded, opening my laptop to draft a reply to the magazine editor. It was time to step into the spotlight on my own terms. No more living under Lucas's shadow. The party rumbled on around me as I typed, my friends' laughter drowning out the phone still buzzing with missed calls from my family. Tomorrow I'd face their accusations and demands, but tonight was mine. We agreed to do the magazine interview at Grandma's house. A deliberate statement. As the photographer adjusted lights in Grandma's sunny study, surrounded by framed photos of my middle school robotics trophies and science fair ribbons, I heard tires crunching on the driveway gravel. They're here, Grandma announced, peeking through the curtains. Right on schedule. Moments later, my parents and Lucas stormed up the walkway. The magazine journalist Diane blinked in surprise. Are they part of the interview? They're about to be, I said, grinning. Keep the camera rolling. The door burst open and my father charged in first. This ends now, Clara. You're making a spectacle out of this family. Lucas's voice boomed through Grandma's sunny study, echoing off the rows of family photos and dusty robotics trophies. Please, I said coolly, glancing at Diane, the journalist from the tech magazine. Do explain how my success embarrasses the family? I'm sure the readers will be fascinated. They all froze, suddenly aware of the camera lenses, the audio mics, and the Tech Vision logo gleaming on Diane's press badge. Lucas's face went blotchy red as he recognized the magazine's name on her notebook. You set us up, my mother hissed, voice trembling. You planned this. No, Mom, I replied, my voice steady. I'm just finished hiding. You try to force me to sign away my patents. Let's talk about that. You ripped up my Stanford diploma. Let's talk about that too. I turned fully toward Diane. My family has an interesting definition of success, I said. To them, it only counts if it comes from the child they choose. Clara, enough, my father barked. But before he could continue, Grandma stepped between us, her voice sharp as a blade. No, Richard, you stop, she snapped. I've watched you dismiss Clara's achievements for years. You poured money into Lucas's schemes while Clara worked 2 jobs to fund her inventions. And now you want to cash in on her success? Not happening. Huh. Lucas's sneer faltered, panic flickering behind his eyes. You're just jealous because I was supposed to be the successful one, he spat. You stole my future. Your future? I laughed, unable to hold it in. You mean like your crypto venture that burned through $500,000? Or your revolutionary fintech app that never launched? Tell me, Lucas, what exactly did I steal from you? Diane was scribbling furiously, her recorder capturing every tense word. My father shifted tactics, trying for a softer tone. Sweetheart, we only want what's best for the family. Can't we discuss this privately? Like how you tried to privately coerce me into handing over my patents? I shot back, pulling my torn diploma from my bag. Or how you privately destroyed this? The photographer clicked away, capturing close-ups of the shredded certificate, a perfect visual for the article. Miss Bennett, Diane interjected, leaning forward. Would you say your family's attitude pushed you toward success? I paused, looking at each of them. My father's simmering anger, my mother's humiliated flush, Lucas's desperate glare. Actually, yes, I said. Every time they dismissed my work as just little robotics projects, it drove me to prove them wrong. Every time they funded Lucas while I lived off scholarships and side jobs, it taught me resilience and independence. They showed me exactly what I never wanted to become. You ungrateful, Lucas began, but Grandma cut him off, voice fierce as ever. Quote, I never saw yours before. I think you've all said enough, Grandma declared. Clara has an interview to finish. Unless you'd like to explain to the readers why you tried to steal her patents. My parents exchanged mortified looks. Finally, my father grabbed Lucas and practically dragged him out, Lucas still yelling about family loyalty. Once they were gone, Diane turned to me, wide-eyed. That was intense. Are you okay? I exhaled slowly, feeling lighter than I had in years. Better than okay. That was the last tie I needed to cut. A month later, the article dropped. Silicon Valley's Rising Star, the hidden story of Clara Bennett. It became the magazine's most shared story of the year. The accompanying photo, my torn Stanford diploma, pieced back together and framed beside my Tesla contract, struck a chord far beyond tech circles. My inbox overflowed. Young engineers shared their own stories of being overlooked. Parents wrote to say they were rethinking how they supported their quieter children. Invitations poured in for me to speak about forging your path despite family pressures. Lucas tried launching a rival robotics startup. Without my parents bankrolling him, it fizzled out in weeks. My parents attempted reconciliation several times, cloaked in talk of family unity and sharing success. I declined every time. Instead, I poured my energy into meaningful work. I launched a scholarship fund in Grandma's name to support underrepresented STEM students. Meanwhile, Tesla's faith in my drone navigation system proved right. Within 6 months, my technology was improving safety and logistics for thousands of autonomous vehicles. A year after the acquisition, I sat in my Palo Alto office, glancing at the framed magazine cover on my wall. My phone buzzed with a text from Priya. Lucas is giving interviews claiming he inspired you. Want me to send receipts? I laughed and typed back, let him talk. Success speaks for itself. Grandma's words, from the article, had become my motto. Success isn't about proving others wrong, it's about proving yourself right. Looking out over the sun-drenched Bay Area skyline, I felt gratitude for every dismissive comment, every obstacle, every attempt to keep me small. Because my little robotics projects were now shaping an industry and inspiring others to stand tall. Sometimes the best revenge isn't confrontation. It's simply succeeding beyond anyone's expectations, especially your own. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments if you've ever felt underestimated or pressured to shrink your dreams. Subscribe and join me as I keep building bigger. Remember, your quiet passions are powerful. Stand your ground, even when no one believes you yet. You're worth betting on.